Welcome back to the New York Brothers broadcast episode. I'm gonna say 7 now. All
Lost
right.
track.
Yeah, I know. This is Kevin and my partner Kenny. Say hello, Kenny.
What's up, everybody?
So a lot has happened. We've been waiting for this for a while. So I'm glad it's finally here. And the big thing that we missed as soon as our podcast went up, the trade happened. I think like the next day. Happened like on Wednesday or something like that. The big trade. It was Cavaliers and the Utah Jazz. Everyone thought that Donovan Mitchell was going to the Knicks, and whoop, you thought you had it. When ended up going to the Cavaliers. So Kenny, let me ask you, who do you think won this trade, and tell me why?
Uh, First, I'm going to start off with, it was bittersweet to see that Donovan got traded to a different team. Um, a part of me wanted him, but then a part of me didn't really want him, especially when all those trade rumors kept coming out that, RJ was being thrown in there, and Danny Ainge wanted more, things like that. So, um, congrats to the Cavs. I think that was a superb pickup by them. Um, that was an A-plus move this offseason for them, having, you know, two up and coming players that have been playing really well in Mobley and Darius Garland. They were able to keep Okoro, who was a great wing defensive player, which they're gonna need, right? Because Garland and Mitchell are both undersized.
So are you
Um,
saying that the Cavs won?
yes,
Okay. Just to clarify that for the audience. Go ahead. Keep
yes.
going. I'm sorry.
I think the Cavs definitely won, only giving up Laurie Markkinen. Um, I'm gonna butcher his name, Ajabi, who was their 22nd, 2022 first round pick.
14th
If I'm,
overall?
yeah, I think it was 15, but
Could be.
same thing. Um, and I think, and they gave away
Sexton.
Sexton,
Signing
which he
trade.
signed a 4-year deal. You know, um, so I think it was a great trade for the Cavs. It was the right move to do at the right time. They're trying to make that playoff push and possibly go 2 rounds, maybe 3 rounds. You never know. Um, the Jazz got what they wanted: 3 unprotected first rounds plus 2 first swaps. So, it was a good deal on their end. Um, but then I guess I'll move over to the Knicks, right? I see a lot of analysts saying that the Knicks messed up again, that they couldn't get a star, another star that didn't want to come to the Knicks, or Knicks didn't pull the trigger. Stephen A. Smith is saying like Knicks are a joke. You know, I disagree with that big time. I think let's just play ball here, right? If Leon Rose were to make that trade for Donovan Mitchell, where do you go from there now, right? You give up potential assets plus, let's say it would have had to be 3 first unprotected first round picks, right? Where do the Knicks go from there? Okay, yeah, Donovan Mitchell is a star. He'll help you win games, but he had a better team in Utah, and they still couldn't really do anything in the playoffs. So the Knicks would have been that like mediocre team that, okay, we'll make playoffs, but you're not really doing anything. Now you don't really have a first round pick, right, to keep trying to build within the draft. And you know, are you hoping for another star player to come over during free agency? I think it was just the right move to not go all the way in for a player like Donovan Mitchell. And
Agreed.
by doing that, they said, "Hey, we have faith in our young youth, and see what they do."
Okay. I don't really want to talk about the Knicks yet because we'll get into that part. Um, but I do agree with you. I think the Cavs won. I mean, reading all these rumors about what the Jazz were going back and forth with the Knicks. They're talking about Barrett, talked about what's his name, Grimes, 3 first-round picks, Obi, IQ, and so you saw a couple of rumors where one trade was Barrett and IQ and 2 first-round pick unprotected. I even saw one with 3 with a top 5 protection on it and stuff like that. To me, those were better offers than what they got from the Cavs. Granted, I'm not exactly sure what they're going to get into from Sexton because Sexton can be a 20-point scorer. He has proven it already. So can they flip that for another 2 first-round picks? Can it be a cornerstone you build around? Who knows? He is the question mark. I don't like Larry Marketing. I was watching some podcasts and he's comparable to Fournier, almost the same contract. So, and they were big, Jazz was supposedly making a big complaint about taking Fournier's contract when in fact you ended up taking Larry Markkinen's contract, which is not that much better of a player. Fournier's a better shooter. Markkinen has better aspects in other areas. But what was the point of that then? Honestly speaking, yes, they got Sexton back, but he is not as good as Barrett, no matter what. Barrett's a 3-and-D, small forward. And they were asking for both him and Grimes, But again, I don't want to get into the Knicks yet. We will get into that more
Yeah,
than stuff like because there's a lot to say about that. I mean, we can literally spend 3 hours talking about this trade, but
I
I
mean,
think the
really quick
Cavs. Go ahead.
before you go ahead, I mean, I wouldn't. I understand, right? The Fournier contract, they didn't want to do that. I guess in Danny Ainge's mind, they saw that they got 3 players under 25, right? Fournier is already, I think he's what, 28, 29 years
Yeah,
old.
let's say 29.
Um, it's really he's like an unmovable player. Unless a team like the Lakers or something like that are desperate to make a championship push and they think that, hey, we need a shooter or something like that. They got three players that are all under 25 years old. Um, you know, plus 3 first round picks. So I understand why Danny Ainge went that route. Um, you know, I also don't know if, and I've been trying to research, haven't really confirmed correctly. I don't know how true it is the RJ and IQ plus 2 or 3 unprotected first round picks really was, right? Kind of almost seemed like it was a rumor, um, but it wasn't a legitimate offer. It was almost like, hey, Leon Rose was saying, like, we might possibly offer you this, but we're not really sure.
Yeah.
You know,
Did
we
you
don't
hear
really want to do it.
who was in charge of the negotiating?
No.
It was the guy from the Timberwolves that we took in from our into our uh into our organization, Gearson.
Okay.
Leon Rose made him in charge. It came out like 2-3 days ago of the negotiating. Of course, Leon Rose has the last say. So you're right. Nothing is stated factual, but it seems like Barrett was on the table, which to me I would not approved of no matter what happened at the end. I would not approved of. Now, did I want Donovan Mitchell? Yes, of course, but I wanted to win the trade, man. Call me greedy and call me dumb. I wanted Mitchell, but I wanted to keep Grimes and Barrett. Find a way to do it. Find a way to do it. That was my thing. And again, if you would have done it, including both or even just Barrett, I wouldn't have been happy. I think
Right.
the same thing as we're getting scrutinized for not getting Donovan Mitchell, we would have been scrutinized for getting Donovan Mitchell and giving up too much. Okay.
Yep.
And we're not there. We're not where the Cavs are. The Cavs have they have a cornerstone, and it is not Darius Garland, and it is not Donovan Mitchell. It is Evan Mobley, guys. If you
Correct.
guys don't know, you guys need to know. This kid is the real deal. He's a defensive player of the year candidate in the next 2-3 years, or cornerstone. And that's the difference between them and us. They were able to go through the draft and get Garland and Mobley. And for them to pull this trade off without touching either one and then keeping Okoro, I get it. You're giving up all your picks and there's a chance that Mitchell might leave, but you're still in good hands. You're giving up low picks.
Exactly.
Possible.
You still have the cornerstone of Garland and Mobley, right? And Mobley is an outstanding player. He is possibly like another Anthony Davis
Mm-hmm.
type player,
Yeah.
Um, so he's a franchise type player that you just, it was a great move. The
Yeah.
Knicks are not there. The Knicks don't have the young players developed like Mobley, and even like Garland, right? I would say Garland is slightly better than RJ right now in terms of scoring, but RJ can
and
do other
passing
things a lot better,
and shooting.
than right than Garland, right? He's a much better defender.
Yeah,
He
Garland
can
can't
guard
defend.
1 through 4 pretty much. So
Garland's worse than Brunson
right.
on defense.
So but
Cupcake defense.
they don't need him. They just need him to score
Mhm.
20 plus points a game. You
And
and
set it up.
Mobley exactly. So it was just a great move from the Cleveland Cavaliers. It should be exciting to see how well they do. Kind of upset that we did the competition before that
Before that.
trade because we both had them on the play-in. That definitely is going to push the Raptors down and them into that.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
think
I put them
five,
over the
four,
Raptors.
maybe.
Put them over the Raptors now. Now with
Yeah.
Durant staying too, they're right there with, who knows what the top six is going to be. I mean, we'll talk about that another day. But I mean, Cavaliers are also different than us. I know we haven't got any stars coming. I know we haven't gotten great free agents, but Cavaliers never in the history get anybody to go with them. So they kind of have to pull this move when they see a chance. I mean, it's a great move. A 25-year-old star. He is a legit star, all-star, you know? Um, and that's a nice point guard tandem, you know? And with the big man to defend makes sense, you know? I would like to see a better 3 and D than Okoro because Okoro is not a good shooter at all. He's a 20% something shooter. They're gonna need his defense, but in the same situation, Okoro can't shoot. Mobley's not a good shooter. Jared Allen can't shoot. So let's see how interesting that is. That's up to the coach to make that happen because it's gonna be hard to make that work on the offense too. But again, my hat tips off to the Cavaliers. Good job. And unfortunately, we weren't there yet. But I guess now let's move on to the Knicks part of it. Um, what did you think in terms of first the front office? Did they make the right move? Did they let one slip? Tell me what you think.
I say 100% they made the right. Like I mentioned before, if they were to acquire Donovan Mitchell, where do you go from there? Right now, you got Donovan Mitchell, you got Julius Randle. Is that really a playoff team? Yeah, possibly because of Donovan Mitchell, right? But that's all you really got. You got Evan Fournier, who's gonna. I think he has a team option after this year. Derrick Rose. Oh no, after the
No,
following
no.
year.
After phone, yes.
Yeah, Derrick Rose after this year.
Correct.
Um, you know, yeah, they could have picked up some free agents here and there. Would who's really available that can really help the team progress? Not really anybody. Um, I like the move that they're making, and in that sense, we know that Tibbs is big on playing veterans, but now you gotta have it. It can only go two ways. Either you tell him you got to play these young guys and develop them, right? Or you got to go, pretty much. And that's the mindset that I have with Thibodeau is that you got to play these young guys. You got to, I think at this point, if we're not looking too good throughout the season, you got to try to flip Rose and you got to try to flip Fournier, even if you get a second round or a late first round pick at this point.
Just to buy playing time for the other young kids, basically.
Correct.
Yeah.
Let IQ play the backup point. Let Grimes have 25 minutes. Let Toppin have 25 minutes. Even Cam Reddish, if you can't get rid of him, and I mean Leon Rose is a big believer in Cam Reddish, right? He gave up a first and Knox for Cam Reddish, right? It's just there's not really playing time for Cam Reddish, and he has a tremendous upside. He's just a little lazy. He doesn't put in the work. But if someone were to give him the time, right? The kid has huge potential. I mean, he's crazy athletic. He's a pretty decent shooter. He's a great defender, right? I mean, there's a reason why he was picked, I think, ninth overall. He could have gone higher had he not really been playing with RJ and,
I don't know
and
if he went
Zion.
ninth. He went like 12th, maybe, I think.
12, really? I thought he went
Oh,
top 10.
yeah, I think he won 12th.
But I think it was a
Could
great.
be, could be.
I think
Yeah.
it was at the end of the day, it was a good move for the Knicks not to get Donovan Mitchell, um, and it kind of helps you out in the sense of, well, there's not really any stars readily available as of right now, right? I don't want to talk about Beal
10th.
because I don't want Beal, you know. So, you know what? Grow with this team. See what IQ can become. See what Grimes can become. Let RJ develop. Play top in a lot. See what he is. I mean, these guys were all picked top 20. I think Grimes was picked what, 20 something, or IQ
Yeah,
was picked 20 something,
they
you
both were
know,
picked in the 20s, in the 20s, and Cam Reddish was 10th. I think
10.
Jazz should have been smart enough to get the 2, 3 picks from the Knicks, and then get a little bit of young players like Cam Reddish. High potential is a lot higher than I can't even say his name. Achobi, whatever his name is.
A jobby.
He's a 3-and-D role player. That's his ceiling. While Cam Reddish has a higher ceiling, lower floor, but higher ceiling. I think they would have been smart to snatch him up like a throw in. They had the room and the time to develop a player like that. I would have tried to grab Miles McBride if I was them. Stuff like that. I mean, you got to be a smart organization. To me, there was not a great move, and I know you're banking on them hopefully to do bad in those last in 2027, 2029. But I don't see it, man. With Mobley, no matter what, he's locked in. No matter what, he's locked in. And Garland's already did like a 5-year contract. They're gonna be decent. They're gonna be around the playoff. Garland's gonna get better. So is Mobley, a lot better. So I didn't like that trade for the Jazz too much, as I thought they could do better. If they did better in the Gobert trade, if you ask me, for what it was. Don't get me wrong. Did they get more for Donovan Mitchell? Yes, but for what it was. Now, I like that you brought Bradley Beal up. I think that is what Donovan Mitchell is, a Bradley Beal type. I like a shooting guard that they're not ones. They will never be ones. They will never carry you to the promised land, you know? So to give up all those assets to get somebody that we're not going to carry us to the promised land, then no, you're right. You have to develop these kids. You have to hope that you become the Cavaliers. Does Barrett take that Evan Mobley, Garland type jump? We're hoping Garland type because he's not a Mobley type. He's not a franchise cornerstone. So you're hoping Barrett does that. You're hoping Brunson becomes a step, takes another step. You're hoping Randall fixes his head. You're hoping that what's his name, Grimes, my boy Grimes, becomes a 3-and-D player. I haven't really put a knock on who Grimes reminds me of, but he can shoot the three nice and he can play defense. I'm gonna get a player comparison for him.
I mean, look at the Celtics. Celtics are a perfect example of a team that has developed their youth, right? Um, you know, Tatum. Tatum had questionable. Nobody thought Tatum was going to be as great as Tatum is now,
No,
right? There's a reason why he was third overall pick, I believe.
yeah,
Um,
they wanted Josh Jackson, by the way. They did not
correct,
want. Josh Jackson said, "I do not want to be a Celtic," and they ended up
right,
drafting Tatum. Okay, well, we're gonna have to go Plan B and Tatum. Oof, boy, did they get lucky because Josh Jackson was a bust.
yeah, and Jalen Brown, pretty much they thought that he was just going to be a defensive player, and he turned out to be an all-star type player. I
Third
mean,
overall too. So I don't know.
um, Marcus Smart, another guy who, when he came in the league, it's like, oh, okay, it's a point guard, shooting guard type player who can play great defense. I mean, he's developed tremendous where
Yeah,
they're giving him the confidence of saying, hey, listen, you're gonna still start. We went to the championship with you. You're gonna still be our starting point guard. Like, we believe in you. So I think that's what the Knicks have to do, right? Gotta give the chance for these young players. You drafted these guys for a reason, you know. Let them develop. Let them play their game. We've seen in the summer league that some of these guys, do play really well, like Grimes. Um, so it definitely is interesting to see what goes on from now. I think coaching is definitely going to play a huge factor in this. Um, it would not surprise me if, like, by the trade deadline or the end of the year, they let go of Tibbs, you know, and get another coach that pretty much has the Leon Rose motto, and this is something that they should have done probably at the end of last year, right?
Well,
Let
they
go of
they
Tibbs,
supposedly brought in the guy from Utah. What's his name? To be the next coach. Um, uh, Udoka type guy. What's his
right?
name? Shoot, he was
I know
Donovan
who
Mitchell's
you're
boy
talking
too.
about.
Donovan Mitchell's boy too, and he's supposed to be the next coach. There, it might happen, it might not. But yeah, I agree with you. I mean, I think it's determined by the wins and losses with Thibodeau. You know, unfortunately, that's what they're gonna claim, hold on to. Also, Leon Rose. I think this trade put a lot of heat on Leon Rose, though. Don't get me wrong, because they could have had Donovan Mitchell if they wanted to. All right. Granted, it was going to be an overpay, and I wasn't going to agree with that. But you trading the 11th pick for 3 first round picks to me tells you you're setting up for a bigger move. Okay, you didn't want to go any more young kids because you do have like about like 6 young kids, 8 young kids if you start counting. How many more young kids do you need? You know, granted, Thibodeau doesn't play them all the time, but how many more young kids do you need? So he got 3 first round picks. You have a lot of 1st round picks. You have all your picks plus 4 other ones with the Dallas Mavericks also. So you have numerous. You can make trades. You know, do you see the Knicks making a move from here to the trade deadline for at least a starter or more?
I don't think so.
No. Okay.
Then the only reason why I say that is because I don't really think anybody's going to be available. I think the only move that we do make in the trade deadline is getting rid of Fournier or someone like Derrick Rose.
Okay. So you think we're not going to be making playoffs at that point?
I think we have a potential of still making playoffs, but I think they're going to try. I think players like IQ and Grimes are going to make a step up, where they're going to try to give them more minutes
Okay.
than try to free up some minutes because there is a logjam, right? You still got to play Fournier. I mean, he's making like $18 million a year, right? Great shooter, can't deny him that. So he's going to eat up 20 plus minutes a game, so those 20 minutes can go and evenly distribute to IQ and Grimes. So I think it's going to be to clear out some of the jam that these veterans are going to take.
Did you listen to Jonathan Macri and Jeremy Cohen's podcast today? They kind
Yeah,
of mentioned that the Knicks, before Donovan Mitchell became available, before the Rudy Gobert trade happened, weren't really looking to make a move this year. They had set it all up for next year, which makes sense. At that point, Fournier is a free expiring contract. Now those 1st round picks that you picked up with the Wizards and the Pistons are more valuable because they become they get carried over to next year, which they probably will because neither one is a playoff team most likely. You know, unless you never know with the Wizards, they could. You never know what happens. Could they make it? Yeah, if Beal becomes 30 points a game again and Porzingis comes back and Kuzma picks it up and everything just clicks, you never know. I mean, it clicked for us 2 years ago, it can click for the Wizards. So it could become, we can have 3 first round picks this year somehow. But it seems like all their moves was based for next year or next offseason. So meaning that this season, it looks like maybe Leon Rose wants to play the kids, wants to see what he has in Grimes and Barrett and Brunson and no, but Brunson wasn't part of the kids anymore. Mitchell Robinson, Obi, and IQ. You know, I'm excited for this team, man. When you're building with young kids, it becomes exciting watching the games. You always want to see a kid come out, break out. There will be one at least. There will be one that won't come out that will do backwards. Who's that kid? Who knows? Hopefully it's not. Hopefully it's Miles McBride at the worst, because
yeah.
even though
I
I like him.
mean, this roster feels a lot different than what we've had in previous years. It's finally like kids that seem like they really work on their game.
Yeah.
Really want to get better. They have the skill sets and they have like the heart. It's just really a matter of minutes, right, with Tibbs. Because we've seen before where, IQ and Toppin can have a great game and he'll play them, 20 plus minutes. And then the next game, because they had a great game or, Toppin by mistake, like turned over the ball or something, he'll sit him out
Kills
and
him.
he'll play him like 2 minutes, and that's
Yeah.
frustrating to see.
It is.
So it's that level of consistency that Thibodeau really needs to do, and hopefully I think Leon Rose kind of like twists his arm, says, "I we do it my way, or I got to get somebody else that has my vision."
Now let me ask you this. I know Jose doesn't want to hear this, but could the next move be Randall leaving the team? And I'll tell you why. Randall moving would open up the ball. It won't be a ball stopper and open up more minutes for Obi, Cam Reddish, and more shots for other people. Do you think there is a chance Randall could be moved before the season starts?
I don't know if before the season starts, but I think without a doubt, Randall. There's a potential that Randall can get moved. Um, Not saying that he will get moved. That without a doubt, that Leon Rose is exploring his options of moving
So
Randall.
he's looking to move him. I agree.
Correct.
I
I
agree.
think I think he wants to. He picked Toppin for a reason. He likes the kid, um, and he wants to see what's in there. You get me? I know he doesn't believe that he'll be a superstar potential player, but he could be a solid starter. On a young team. So I think Randall. I think they are definitely exploring options in Randall, and any team that gets desperate and thinks that hey, Randall can help us, you know, make that push a little bit. Especially if he starts playing well.
Yeah.
Got to raise that value.
And that's what they the podcast I listened to today said this season can go one of two ways. If they start losing, expect Randall to be here for the next year or two because no one's gonna want him, especially if he's
Exactly.
part of the reason why we're losing. You know, and it's gonna be mayhem from the fans. It's gonna get ugly if we start losing. I'll tell you that right now, especially if Randall does bad. If we start winning and Randall does good, are they gonna get tricked into keeping him again? That's a question you got to ask yourself.
It's possible. I mean,
I
I
hope
hope
not.
that's not the case, right? I hope they flip him. Say,
Yeah.
listen, man, we can win without you. Yeah, you helped us win, but that's fine. Toppin can pretty much do everything that you can do, if not better, because he doesn't demand the ball.
Something
So
I saw today is that Mark Berman, even though we don't like Mark Berman,
that's right.
supposedly interviewed his inside sources that the players like to play with Obi a lot more than with Randall. Why? Because Obi moves the ball. Things happen. Things are moving faster. The team was more united. The question is, who is his sources? And they're saying that it's Thibodeau. Now, let me tell you why that's very important. If Thibodeau thinks like that means the moment Randall's not doing well, you're going to see Obi play minutes. So I'm hoping for once what Mark Berman said is correct because I want to see Thibodeau put a short leash on Randall. Okay. Let's move on to our next activity because time is running short. We're trying to keep it to a short time. Again, we could talk for hours regarding Knicks or especially this trade. This trade's too much to talk about. But let's talk about the next year's point guard rankings. Okay. Top 10 only. All right. Some teams got good backups that can be the top 20, top 30, but only top 10. Kenny, last time I went first, we will let you go first.
All right. So the number one, without a doubt, I got Brunson. No, I'm just kidding. I got Luca.
Okay.
Okay. He is a point guard. I mean, even though he's taller, but definitely number one MVP this
Everyone
year.
says that. Go ahead. Who's number two? I think I
Uh,
already know who your number two is.
who? Steph Curry?
No, Jay Morant.
No, I put Steph Curry above John
You
Morant.
know what? I had two and three. It's like, oh, I don't know who. That's the number three then, Jay Morant.
John Morant's number
Okay,
three.
so we settled top three. Mine is Steph Curry at three. I think John
Okay.
Morant's gonna have to carry the team more, so his number's gonna be a little bit better than next year. And I think Steph Curry's gonna take a little bit of a back seat. But you can't go wrong with two and three. Now here's the question. This is where it gets interesting from 4 to 10. And I think there's a 4 to 7 that's pretty set. And then it goes, a little bit, it gets a little crazier. Tell me who's your four.
My four, I went with Trey Young.
Me too.
Yeah. I think he's gonna have a solid year. He's gonna really try to make it work and show that the Hawks won that trade with DeJounte Murray.
Okay.
Number five, I went Kyrie.
Okay. I had Kyrie 7. I went
Okay.
with James Harden. Tell me why you went
Okay.
Kyrie.
I went with Kyrie because after all the noise and all the embarrassment that they went last year, I think he's going to not really shut his mouth and play, but he's going to play.
Contract
And
year.
Kyrie is Kyrie. You cannot deny
What a
him that.
talent.
I mean, the kid is good.
And
You
the
know,
only reason I put him in the top 10, because I wouldn't have, is his contract year. And he wants
right?
that big This is his last chance for a big contract. So in order to get a big contract, not only do you have to put up great numbers, you got to show up. And that's one of his biggest deals. All right. So you had Kyrie fifth. Who do you have? I had him seventh, but I had James Harden. What did you have? Did you have James Harden in your top 10?
James Harden was right after Kyrie,
Okay.
six.
Okay.
Who do you have six?
I have Lillard six.
Okay, I have
No, I'm
Lillard
sorry.
seven.
One.
Oh,
Yeah, Lillard six. Go ahead.
I have Lillard seven.
Okay.
James
So
Harden above Lillard, and then
so we have the
Lillard
same
afterwards.
thing. That's what I said. The four, the Trey Young, Kyrie, Lillard, Harden thing, we're set there, right? That's
Right.
what I thought. They're the second tier of point guards, you know. Um, can any of them move, can any of those guys move into the top three?
Yes, Kyrie. I
Okay.
think Kyrie or James Harden.
I think so too.
Lillard, Lillard. I think is that's it. That's his ceiling.
I don't think Lillard, I don't think he's gonna be Kyrie because I think Durant's there too much. I think it's
Yeah.
Harden or Trey Young that can move in the top three. I think Trey Young can. I think there's more to him that he's shown us, but he doesn't do it for some reason. But we'll see. So more now. Here's the interesting part: 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I don't think
Eight.
we're gonna agree on any of these, but let's go.
I have Drew Holiday.
Drew Holiday. I had him in my players just missed the list.
Wow. Yeah, I have
Okay.
Drew Holiday. I think
Elite defender.
he's an elite defender, no question, and I think he's still gonna be big for the Bucks.
Okay.
Ninth, I got Shea Gillis Alexander,
He just missed my list. I put somebody else at. Okay.
and then the last I have CP3.
CP3. Okay. I didn't have CP3. So my 8, 9, 10, I have LaMelo Ball,
Hmm.
Aaron Fox, and Darius Garland as 10. I wasn't in love with Darius Garland. He did
I didn't
great
put
last year,
Darius
but
Garland.
I didn't want to put him too much because of Donovan Mitchell. I
Exactly.
think he's gonna take a little hit. But
I
it
think
was
he's still gonna do well, but his points and stuff like that, Donovan Mitchell's gonna have that ball a lot more, you know. LaMelo Ball, I would have said yes had he had a better team. But with all the stuff going on, um, you know, I
that's where we
don't
gotta send. That's where we gotta send Julius, man. We just gotta bite the bullet and take on Gordon Hayward's ugly contract. I'm ready for that because to me it makes more sense. It'll make the team more unified. Better 3-point shooter. You know, he could play the 3-4. That's to me, that's where Julius Randle gotta go. Straight up Julius Randle for Gordon Hayward, just make it happen. I mean, I would like to put PJ Washington and Fournier in that trade where they take on Fournier and we take on PJ Washington. But if it has to be just straight up Julius Randle for Gordon Hayward, I will do that. But I put LaMelo there because I think he's gonna have to carry the team a lot more. And he's a triple double waiting to happen, like Westbrook used to be. But you're right. It could potentially hurt him because if there's nobody there, you're gonna see some ugly. You're gonna see some defense, double teams, and stuff like that, and it might happen. There's
and
nobody there to help him.
that's the thing. He's not good defensively. Um, and I think
Steals. That's
he
it.
is. Yeah, I think he's more of a. He needs to have a good team around him because he's not a great scorer. He's not a bad scorer either, but he's more of an assist type player.
Yeah.
Get everybody involved and stuff like that. So in order for him to do well, I think he needs a great team. Who was your last one? You said
Garland. I had Lamelo
no.
Ball, De'Aaron Fox, and then Garland.
You know, De'Aaron Fox. I think it's just going to be De'Aaron Fox.
I
I don't
expect
know.
24 and 8 from De'Aaron Fox.
The only one that I did
24 and
not like
7,
from my
maybe.
list was Shea Gillis Alexander. I'm not a big believer in him. Um, I think he's a solid player. I just don't think I I don't see how good he is. And that was the one player that I wasn't sure if I should put him or De'Aaron Fox. Those were the two that I was debating with.
You know who I
Um,
was very tempted to put? Cade Cunningham. I was very tempted. I think he's gonna score 20 and get you 7 and 7 and good defense. I
that's
think
my
what's gonna
boy.
make him or break him is his 3-point shot next year. If he shoots it well, he'll score 20. And a 7 and 7 or 6 and 6 kind of year with good defense, the kid's gonna be nice. I mean, we're not talking about we're just talking about next year. We're not talking about future because then obviously CP3 wouldn't be in this. I took CP3 out because I thought eventually he's gonna be too much for him. Like they're gonna rest him. And listen, Father Time always wins eventually. And his defense was atrocious at the end of the year. They say he can't move. He can't move.
Yeah.
So he's still one of the best floor generals, IQ players in the whole league. So maybe I was wrong, you know. Another player, I had Drew Holiday's player just missed the list, and DeJounte Murray too, because of the new trade that he just went to another team. So he's going to be the second fiddle now.
The two that I had that just missed the list was Jamal Murray,
Okay.
okay, from the Nuggets. It can go either way with him.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and who was the other one? Oh, you might say like, ooh, I don't know about
Ben
that.
Simmons.
No, CJ McCollum.
Okay.
And the only reason why I didn't do CJ McCollum, well, he was like the bottom of just missed the list for me. The reason why CJ McCollum's not top 10 is just because Ingram and Zion are going to be the two guys on that team. So,
Yeah.
you know, but you never know. I mean, CJ McCollum is a experienced vet. I think he will play the point a lot. So the team does look good on paper.
Yeah, I know.
So
Man, we got to steal one of the wings, man. I want either Herbert Jones or give me a Trey Murphy. Come on, you got like 5 guys or 6'8" and above, wingmen. Give us one, please. I'll give up a first round pick for that. A newbie,
yeah.
But anyway, we're gonna have to call it a night tonight. Again, we can talk about this forever. Please press the thumbs up and subscribe. And for now, our special guest confirmed he will be here Friday. Guys, tune in to see my boy. No names given yet. You will see him. Funny cat. For now, have a good night. Kenny, thank you so much.
Thank you. Good night, everybody.